the first day, we have already mentioned the 5 aggregate of clinging is the truth of suffering. So in order to get rid of suffering, we must understand the 5 aggregate. Because Buddha said the truth of suffering must be thoroughly known. Therefore, today we want to see one of the 5 aggregate, which is Rupa Khanda, materiality aggregate. What is this materiality? We call Rupa Khanda. In Sutta, Buddha constantly mentioned Rupa Khanda consists of 4 elements. Pathavi Dhatu, earth element, Apo Dhatu, water element, Pathavi Apo Tejo Dhatu, fire element, and Vayo Dhatu, wind element. And in Mahahati Padopama Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, Venerable Sariputta mentioned, what is this earth element? Whatever in the body, from top of the head, whatever in the body which is hard, you feel hard, that is earth element. And it is clung to, whatever hard in the body, and it is clung to as I, myself, that is earth element. So try to see your body. Which part of the body is hard?
Bones.
Yes, bone, very clear. Head hair, right? Head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, skin. Then all the inside, the organ, which have soft, hard. Soft and hard is only relatively. So when you try to pay attention from top of the head down to the soul, if whatever part you feel hardness, then mentally you must know it is earth element. The second one is Apo Dhatu, water element. Venerable Sariputta said, whatever in the body is watery, flowing, that is water element. So what is the watery in the body?
Saliva?
Yes, correct. Only one? Blood? Yes, tears, urine, sweat, blood, bile, spittle, right? So whatever you can find in the body which is watery and flowing, that is called water element. The third one is fire element, Tejo Dhatu. Tejo Dhatu, Venerable Sariputta says, whatever in the body is fiery is called fire element. So what is fiery in the body? Acid. We call digestive fire. We didn't call acid. We call digestive fire that digests the food, digests the drinks, and so on. So digestive fire is called fire element. What else?
Every cell. Every cell makes hot.
We call temperature, the bodily temperature. Without bodily temperature, our body becomes rotten, right? And also there is one very important factor that is responsible for your skin to become wrinkled, for your hair to turn to grey.
Hormone?
Hormone is scientific name. During Buddha's time, maybe we don't use scientific. That's called maturing fire. There's one maturing factor in the body, which is fire element, that makes the skin become wrinkled, turn the hair, become grey, and so on. So for those who have strong fire element in the body, his hair turn to grey very fast. I have one student who is about 30, 40 years old, but all her hair already turned to white because he told me that he has very strong fire element in the body. So you see, what Buddha says is very correct. Even 2,600 years ago, Buddha told us already. If you have strong fire element, then you age very fast. And the last one is wind element. What is wind element? Whatever in the body there is pushing, motion. Pushing, motion, support, pleasure, that is wind element. Or whatever area in the body is called wind element. So if you pay attention from top of the head down to the soul, and whatever you see, whether it appears as sensation or pain, whatever in the body, all are manifestation of 4 elements. And what are the causes for the 4 elements in the body?
Mind?
Yes, there are 4 causes. One of the causes is mind. For example, you get very angry. When you get very angry, the anger mind produce 4 elements in the body, and inside that 4 elements, fire element become predominant, become very strong. For this reason, when one gets angry, the face become red. The whole body become very hot. Okay, what are the another 3 factors?
Food.
Very good. Food. So when you eat, let's say chili, spicy food, then the fire element in the body, it produces 4 elements in the body and body become hot. So the food also affect the 4 elements in the body. And when you don't take any food for a few days, the 4 elements become weak. The 4 elements in the body, without receiving any nourishment, it become weaker and weaker, then your body also become weak. Okay, what are the...
Weather.
Very good. Weather. Weather is another reason to affect our body. When weather is cold, then the element in the body is in one different mode. And when weather is hot, then the whole body, the element in the body also change. Okay, last one. Movement. Movement. Movement produced by mind. Emotion is mind. I already mentioned. So when we are emotion, our body, when we are happy, body become very energetic, right? When we are sad, body become very down. So it's 4 elements produced by mind. I think last one you do not know. It's not your belief. The last one is karma. We call karma born materiality. So some people, because of previous good karma, so when they are born, they have strong, very good and balanced 4 elements. Therefore, they are always healthy. And for some, they may have some deficiency karma in the past. And when this life, when they are born, they have some deficiency. For example, myself, I have very weak digestive fire. This is also because of my past unwholesome karma. So we understand the 4 elements in the body are effect of 4 causes. And they are not, these 4 elements in the body are not a permanent self. Not a permanent self, you cannot control it. You cannot control it to be, I want my body to be like that, I want my body to be like this. No, it's beyond our control. So when we practice 4 elements meditation, the purpose is to see the body composed of 4 elements. There's not the concrete body as we see through the eyes. And as you pay attention to the 4 elements again, one by one, but earth element, fire element, earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, again and again, and you will see this element keep on changing. And also the other purpose of practicing 4 elements is to see the non-self nature of these 4 elements. When you understand the non-self nature of the 4 elements, then you understand the non-self nature of the body, so that the mind will not cling to the body as I, myself. This is what Buddha said. The materiality aggregate should be thoroughly known. When you thoroughly know the body is composed of 4 elements and it's not I, myself, and the mind let go of clinging. Now, how to practice this 4 elements meditation? First, you keep your attention. First, you must understand the characteristic of each element first. Let me repeat. Earth element has 6 characteristics: hardness, roughness, and heaviness. And the opposite one, hardness versus softness, roughness versus smoothness, heaviness versus lightness. However, the most important characteristic in the earth element is hardness. So if you can feel the hardness, that is enough to understand earth element. So you keep your attention on top of the head, then move down by scanning. Move down, then feel the hardness of your whole skeleton, bone. Move down slowly. The moment you can feel the hardness, then you move down again, hardness, hardness. When you can feel the hardness, move down again. Move down again, part by part, until the soul. It may take, for example, 20 minutes to go 1 round. 20 minutes is just average. For some people, if he scan, immediately he can feel hardness. So he can go about 5 minutes, 1 round, then again another round, again another round of hardness, until the whole body until the hardness becomes very clear in his perception. The second one is water element. Water element has 2 characteristics. One is flowing, another one is cohesion, stickiness. To discern this water element, you have to use your mind to think. Tear is flowing, sweat is flowing, saliva is flowing, urine is flowing, blood is flowing. Then the cohesion is the cohesive nature, sticky nature that bind together all your organs. For example, our organ, I think most of you understand the yoga. Yoga, when you put the head down and foot on top, why your organ does not scatter? The organ can maintain, can remain bind together simply because of water element. So in short, this cohesive nature is the force of binding, so that your shape of the body in proper, so all your organs in proper shape. So you listen, apart from listen the flowing, you also feel the cohesive nature in the body. The third one is fire element. Fire element is very easy to discern. The moment you feel the bodily temperature in the body, then you recognize it as fire element. And when the body is not hot, it's cold, it's also fire element relatively. The last one, for the fire element, same. You scan and feel the little bit heat, bodily temperature throughout the body. And the last one is wind element. So inside the body, you can feel the breathing air, in breath, out breath, which is wind element, heartbeat, which is wind element, rising, falling of stomach, which is wind element. The second characteristic of wind element is supporting. Why we can sit very erect? Because wind support the body. This is called wind element. And also any pressure in the body, which is wind element. So to practice this 4 element meditation, you scan the body from top of the head. Then first earth element. When earth element become clear, I don't know how long it takes for you to discern earth element. But when it becomes clear, then you go to the second one, wind element. Water element. So when water element become clear, you go to third one, fire element. When fire element become clear, you go to the fourth one, wind element. And this process, repeat the process again and again, from top of the head down to the soul. And as you develop mindfulness and concentration, and the process become fast, from one scan, hardness become very clear. Another scan, top of the head down to the soul, water element become clear. And third scan, from top of the head down to soul, fire element become clear. And last one, scan from top of the head down to the soul, wind element become clear. So if the element become clearer and clearer, and it appears very fast, and your discerning mind also goes very fast. When the insight becomes sharp and the four elements appear very fast, then you should not move from top of the head down to soul. Instead, you keep the whole body as one. So when you take the whole body as one, then you keep on discerning earth element, not moving from top of the head down to soul. Just as a one, and discern earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, again and again, until you lose the perception of body. You cannot see the body anymore. What you see is only four elements. And for somebody, the four elements, they cannot see there's any self in the four elements, and they get very frightened. There's one yogi, when she discerned the four elements in the body and cannot see any self in the body, she was so frightened and cried, tearing, and come to me. Say that it's so fearful. And I told her, congratulations, you have seen the truth. So from this yogi's experience, you should understand, seeing the truth is something can be fearful to you.
Because you lose yourself.
Yes, because we have strong clinging to the self. Without self, we don't know how to live the world. So once you see the truth, there is no self, the mind cannot take it for the first moment. Self is created one. It's not real. It's created by our ignorance and craving. It's not real. So when a yogis, if they cannot see the four elements as non-self, then he should contemplate. When he sees the earth element, he should contemplate earth element is not a self. Mentally say. If non-self nature does not appear clear to her or him, then he should use yoniso manasikara, wise attention. So discern earth element, then mentally say earth element is not a self. Then water element again, water element is not a self. Then wind element, fire element, then fire element is not a self. And last one, when he discerns earth, wind element, he should say wind element is not a self. And as he keeps on practicing, sometimes the whole body appear as bubbles, water bubbles, arising, passing away, arising, form and vanishing, form and vanishing. So the whole body appear no more solid as before, only forming and perishing, forming and perishing. Then he understands anicca of the body. And for somebody, they feel that the whole body, just like a house, suddenly collapse. Everything collapse. When I practice these four elements, not only I see this by bubbling, forming and vanishing, but I also see the whole body collapse, that I cannot get up at all. At that moment, you understand the fault, the danger of having the body. It is impermanent, not lasting, and it's very stressful and no controller over the body. So it is anicca, dukkha, anatta. So if you can reach this state, then the mind does not cling to body anymore. Okay, so this is how to practice 4 elements meditation. Now I would like to continue to teach you how to practice 4 elements during meal time. During meal time, many people, most people eat with craving, and we know craving is unwholesome state of mind. In order to get rid of that craving, we should eat mindfully with insight. So we will apply the 4 elements meditation during meal time. So when you take the food, the spoon touch the hand touch the spoon, please feel the hardness. But sometimes you can feel the coldness of the stainless steel spoon. Coldness is fire element. Then you bring the food into your mouth, and when the food touches the tongue, you can feel various elements. You can choose whatever element you feel and contemplate it. If you feel the hot of the food touch the tongue, then you contemplate fire element. If you feel the roughness of the food or hardness or softness of the food touch the tongue, then what should you contemplate? Earth element, yes. Then you start chewing. Chewing. What is the element of chewing? Wind element. So after few chewing, you will feel saliva flowing out from your mouth. What element? Water element. So you contemplate, taking that flowing and contemplate water element. Lastly, you have to swallow, right? When you swallow, then the food is pushed down. That pushing is wind element. So you can discern all 4 elements during 1 spoonful of the food in the mouth. And you repeat the process again and again until you feel so tired of eating and you no more enjoy the food. Okay, try today. Okay, so this is the 4 elements meditation during sitting if you want to practice 4 elements. But during meal time is the must. Because during my interview with you, I will ask you how you discern the 4 elements during your meal time. So I have taught you Metta Bhavana, loving kindness meditation. I have taught you Anapanasati. Now I have shared with you 4 elements meditation. Why should I teach you so many ways of practices? Because one way of the practice may not suitable for everyone. You should choose the one you feel most comfortable. Then you make fast progress. However, I would like to recommend you to start with Metta first. Metta meditation softens the mind and make the mind happy. And if you can practice with happy mind, then your progress goes very smoothly. So you can practice Metta for 20 minutes, then you continue mindfulness of breathing. But for those who is very good in mindfulness of breathing, you can start with Anapanasati. So during walking meditation, if you can practice Anapanasati, you can do Anapanasati. Otherwise, I will recommend you to do 4 elements meditation. As I have shared with you, first, when you walk, any movement is wind. When the foot touch the floor, hardness, you can feel a hardness or whatever element you feel. Then you just note it. But any movement, you just wind element. But how you feel? You feel hardness, then earth element, wind element, earth element. In the process, some element will become clearer and clearer. Then you have more to observe. But to anchor your mind, you emphasize on two first, wind element and earth element. The rest, when it appears, then you observe. And lastly, whatever element you observe, you should conclude it with earth element is not myself, water element is not myself, fire element is not myself, wind element is not myself. Otherwise, you will identify element as myself. Because the purpose of this four elements is to see non-self nature of the body. Okay, any question? Okay, so yesterday I have shared with you how to practice loving kindness to oneself. And I divide the self into body and mind. How do you feel?
Grateful.
Better than to a personal self. Okay, so if you want, you can start with, every time you start with metta for 10 minutes or 20 minutes before you proceed to anapanasati. So today I would like to share with you how to practice anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. Anapanasati, Pali of anapanasati means anapana, in breath and out breath. Sati, mindfulness. So anapanasati means mindful of your in breath and out breath. The name already shows us the object of our observation is in breath and out breath. And since the in breath and out breath come out from the nostril, therefore we should keep our attention in front of the nose. And we keep mindfulness. We keep mindfulness in front of the nose and mentally note breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. For some teachers, they may ask you to focus on the touching point and feel the sensation, but I will not encourage you to do like that. Why? Because if you focus on the sensation, on the touching point, your concentration cannot go very deep. However, if you focus on the sensation, on the touching point, it helps you at the beginning to anchor your mind. But later on, to go into very, very deep concentration is not possible. So we should just mindful in front of the nose and aware of the in-breath and out-breath as a concept. In, out. Don't pay attention to the sensation of the breath. The second point is we should not follow the in-breath up to the head or down to the abdomen. Why? Why we should not follow the breath up to the head or down to the abdomen? Because if your mind is moving up and down, you cannot develop deep concentration. The third important point is when you are aware of the in-breath and out-breath in front of the nose, don't focus. Don't focus very strongly and grasp the breath. Don't do like that. If you focus very strongly on the in-breath and out-breath and grasp it very strongly, very soon it causes tension on your head, hardness on your nose, then you don't know how to meditate. This is the reason for why many people fail to achieve distinction when practicing anapanasati, because they grasp the object very strongly. This means that you should mindful of the in-breath and out-breath very lightly, relaxed, with relaxed mind. And since the in-breath and out-breath is very small object, very tiny object, if you put too much effort, grasp the object, soon you get a lot of tightness and tension, then you cannot proceed, you cannot make progress. And since the in-breath and out-breath is soft and very unclear and soft, so the mind also must be soft and relaxed. Only then it matches. And you should understand the anapanasati, mindful of the in-breath and out-breath. Mindfulness is just aware, simply aware of in-breath and out-breath without putting too much effort. If the in-breath and out-breath does not appear clear to you, you don't have to make it very clear. Don't control your breath to make it clear. This is the fourth point you should remember. Don't control your breath. Let it be natural. Your breathing must be natural. So these are the 4 important points for you to make progress in the anapanasati. And these 4 points is the experiences for my own practice and for all the yogis, success and failure. Okay, so let me repeat a little bit so that you can remember. First point, keep the mindfulness in front of the nose. Don't touch the skin. First point. Although the in-breath and out-breath, when it comes and goes, it may touches, it may touch the skin, but you don't focus on the skin. You only focus on in-breath and out-breath. The second point is don't follow the breath. When you breathe in, the breath go up to the head. When you breathe out, the breath go down to the abdomen. Don't let the mind follow up and down. Instead, keep at one area in front of the nose. The third point, aware of the in-breath and out-breath as concept. The fourth point, which is most important, practice with relaxed mind. Don't focus strongly or grasp the breath. Okay, so next, when we start the practice, then how to go on. So when you start with breathing in, breathing out, mentally you should note, breathe in, breath out, breath out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Mentally note. Why we should mentally say? Because if you don't say it mentally, the mind will go somewhere else. So to prevent the mind wander here and there, we even count the breath. And breathing in, breathing out 1. Breathing in, breathing out 2. Breathing in, breathing out 3. Count up to 5. And again, after 5, again, from breathing in, breathing out 1, then count up to 5. And if you feel the number is too short, you can increase up to 8. As when I instruct my student to count up to 8, one of my Chinese students count up to 300. And I asked her, why you count up to 300? She said that, but it's a very good experience. So as long as you achieve the concentration, I don't care how much you count. One of my way of teaching is I give you some guidance, you find what is most suitable for you. I don't like rigid way. So if a yogi can count up to 300 and continuously without a gap, it means that she or he has very good concentration. Otherwise, when you count 10, your mind wander off. When you come back, you forget the number. So when you mindful of your in-breath and out-breath for some times, there are few hindrances may arise. Number 1 is restless. There are 2 ways to tackle the restless mind. If you want to practice pure concentration, to achieve deep concentration, then you ignore the restless. When breathe in, breathe out, you know my restless, come back quickly. Ignore. No need to note anything. Just come back quickly. Another way is that when you know your mind is restless, you can make a note. Mind affected by restless as mind affected by restless. You recognize the wandering mind as wandering mind. Then come back to the breath. Anapanasati is the concentration meditation. It's samatha meditation. Therefore, restless mind is the greatest hindrance for the concentration. And to overcome this restlessness, which is the greatest hindrance, then I would like to encourage the yogis to count the breath. One of my students who is very obedient and she follow my instruction, keep on counting the breath. Whether she's sitting, walking, eating, lying down, and then he come back to sit again. The moment she sit down, she can continue the number and she can achieve concentration very fast. So you should behave like a beginners, breathing in, breathing out, one count the breath. Unless you already achieve jhana, then no need to count the breath. The second hindrance is pain. So the pain arises in you. How you tackle the pain? Observe with neutral mind. So there are many ways to deal with the pain. First is to ignore it. But you may say, the pain is there, how can I ignore? One of my American students, he can sit about 1.5 hours. After 1.5 hours, the pain arises very strongly. And when the pain arises in him, the worry, the pain may kill me, the pain may make me injure me, or the anxiety and worry arise along with the pain. So after 1.5 hours, because of the worry due to the pain, he cannot proceed. 1.5 hours stop. And I asked him to ignore the pain. He cannot understand how to ignore. And I said, just follow me, ignore the pain. Then, okay, follow what teacher say. Then he sit. Then the pain, after 1.5 hours, the pain come. He said, ignore. Don't pay attention to the pain. Go back to the breath continuously. And finally, he can sit 3 hours. And he reported to me, now I understand what is the meaning of ignore the pain. Understand? Don't care, don't pay attention to it. Then force yourself, go back to the breath. This is called ignoring the pain. However, sometimes the pain becomes so unbearable. You can't just ignore. Then you should shift your attention to the pain. And there are 2 ways. First is to say, tell yourself, it's not myself. Pain is dukkha vedana, unpleasant sensation. Unpleasant sensation is not myself. Unpleasant sensation is not myself. Keep on repeating these words. It is because we cling to the pain as myself, it becomes unbearable. If you can separate yourself with the pain by saying, pain, this dukkha vedana, not myself, separate yourself with the pain. Try, keep the distance with the pain, and the pain becomes bearable because your mind no more cling to the pain as myself. So first try, you may not be successful. You have to try many times until you reach a point that pain is pain, you are not affected. Okay, second way of observing pain is by way of 4 elements. In order to observe it correctly, I have to tell you what are the 4 elements first. So, earth element has 6 characteristics: hardness, roughness, and heaviness. And the opposite of hardness is softness. And opposite of roughness is smoothness, and opposite of heaviness is lightness. So these 6 are the characteristic of hardness, Paṭṭhavi Dhatu. Okay. Then the second is Apo Dhatu, water element. There are 2 characteristics, flowing and cohesion. Sometimes the pain appear is very tight, very sticky. This is called Apo Dhatu, water element. Another is Paṭṭhavi Apo Tejo Dhatu, fire element. Tejo Dhatu is very easy, heat and cold. The last one is wind element. Wind element includes pushing, vibration, and pulling, and also supporting. I can sit very straight because wind support me. Once you understand the characteristic of these 4 elements, then you can examine your pain. So you keep your attention on the area of the pain and see what is predominant there, whether it's hardness, or whether it's pushing, or whether it's cohesion, very tight, and so on. So if the pain is very hard, then you mentally say Paṭṭhavi Dhatu, earth element. And if you feel that inside the pain is moving, vibration, pulling, moving, then you say Vayo Dhatu, wind element. And if you feel the play is the area of the pain is very hot, then you say fire element. As you keep on investigating the pain, what are the elements inside the pain, then you lose the perception of pain. So you are the observer of the 4 elements, which is the ultimate reality, instead of defeated by the pain. So by this way, observing the pain, you develop the knowledge of the 4 elements. And after that, you can come back to breath. When the pain no more bother you, you come back to breath. Okay, the next hindrance is slow and torpor. Slow and torpor usually come from overeating and lack of sleep. However, when slow and torpor, sleepiness arise, first you should shift your attention to the slow and torpor, and observe the sleepiness. Take it as an object. Just like breath is your object. Now slow and torpor become the object. Look at it. This is called observing the mental state. Then you can tell, while you observe it, you can tell anicca, or anatta. However, before slow and torpor become strong, your mind must be alert enough. The moment the mind slightly lose the object, lose the breath, the moment the mind slightly blur, then you should know it is slow and torpor. Then you can overcome the slow and torpor. Don't wait until your body start to sway, only you want to note the slow and torpor, it becomes too late. This technique is for insight meditator. But if you fail, you say you cannot do it, then open the eyes. Open the eyes and observe the breath. If you still feel sleepy, then pull your ears. This is very effective way to make the mind alert. But I hope that I don't want to see everybody is pulling the ear. It means that everybody is sleepy. Okay. Another effective way to overcome your slow and torpor is standing. Stand up on your on the floor. No. All I mean is that when you are sleepy, stand up. So when you stand up, then you breathe in. Then you continue breathe in and out. These few ways should enough for you to overcome your slow and torpor. Okay. So when you have overcome all the hindrances, come back to the breath. Then continue to mindfully breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, then you should be able to observe whether the breath is long or short. There are 4 stages in the Anapanasati Sutta. The first stage is just mindful of the breath. In breath, out breath, mindful. Now the breath go in, come out. Mindful in front of the nose. As you develop some concentration, you also will know sometimes the in-breath is long, sometimes the out-breath is long, sometimes the in-breath is short, sometimes the out-breath is short. Long and short refer to the duration of the time. For example, you take a longer time, breathe in, only stop, very longer time, then finish the whole in-breath. This is called long in-breath. Sometimes you take very short in-breath, in, stop, very short, stop, then this is called short in-breath, same like out-breath. But all this occur naturally. You don't control, please don't control your breath to make it long or short. If you control your breath, gradually you will feel pain in the chest. So when you feel pain in the chest, you must know you do not breathe naturally. So go back to the natural breath instead of controlling. As you're developing the concentration, then your mindfulness becomes sharper and sharper. Your mindfulness on the breath becomes more alert, then you can aware when you breathe in, there is beginning, middle, and the end of the breath. And when you breathe out, because your mindfulness is keen and alert and sharp, so you know there's a beginning of the out-breath, there's a middle, and the end of the out-breath. So one out-breath, you can see beginning, middle, and the end. In order to reach this third stage, observing beginning, middle, at the end of the breath, of the in-breath and out-breath, the third stage, while observing the third stage, the beginning, middle, and the end of in-breath and out-breath, then mindfulness becomes very firmly established. You can use your logical thinking. If you can aware, when you breathe in, you know beginning, middle, and end. When you breathe out, you know beginning, middle, and end. Then there's no thought can come into the mind, because your mindfulness is very well established on in-breath and out-breath. There's no thought, no restless, no slow and torpor, and so on. All the hindrances are. But this stage must come very naturally. If you cannot reach this stage, don't force. If you force yourself, then it causes a lot of tension. And the fourth stage is coming down the breath. Coming down the breath. Come down the breath. As concentration develops, the breath becomes more and more subtle, more and more unclear. For many people, because they do not understand the practice of anapanasati, they think that they are not progressing. In fact, when the breath becomes very, very subtle, it shows that they are progressing, because subtle breath produce deep concentration. You can imagine if your breath is very rough and very gross, how can you go into deep concentration? Only small breath, subtle breath can lead you to very deep concentration. Therefore, you must know you are making progress when your breath becomes more and more subtle. To some people, the breath even stops. In fact, the breath does not stop, simply because the breath becomes so subtle, the mindfulness cannot catch up with the breath. Therefore, he thinks the breath, no more breath. And many yogis get stuck at this stage. And one of my American students, when he reached this very good stage, then she cannot feel the breath. And she thought, The worry, anxiety always occur at this stage. Am I going to die? I have no more breath. So at this point, when you reach this stage, please teach yourself, I am still breathing, simply because my mindfulness is not sharp enough to catch up with the subtle breath. Teach yourself first. Otherwise, you will be overcome by anxiety, worry, and fear of death. So when you can't feel the breath anymore, then keep the attention in front of the face and breathe little bit more, so that you can feel the breath again. Then when you can feel the breath again and again, when the subtle breath come back, then you can feel the breath again. For some people, they may see the light. Or for some people, they may feel a lot of joy, happiness in the body. The joy and happiness in the body is very important for further progress. We call it piti, piti. With this joy or raptures of piti in the body, and the mind can concentrate very well for a long time. And the light in the body become very light. You cannot feel the weight of the body, and you feel like floating in the sky. At this point, don't let the doubt and anxiety to invade your mind. You may have doubt, am I floating in the sky? And open the eye and see you are remain sit on the floor. It's just a manifestation of piti only. Make the body so light. It doesn't mean that you really float in the sky. And Buddha in the sutta said that joy or rapture leads to happiness, and happiness leads to concentration. And when the mind is concentrated, you cannot feel the body. Your mind is concentrated on the breath, and for some yogis, they cannot feel the hand at all. And I'm very surprised to hear that many people, when they cannot feel the hand, they become afraid again. I don't understand why they have so many fear and worry and anxiety, because having no body is a bliss. So for some yogis, when they cannot feel the hand, they open and see whether they have hand or not. And when they open the eyes, the concentration breaks. I tell you all this so that you can prevent not to make the same mistakes. Okay, that much enough for today. So today, I would like to share with you dependent origination, the 12 factors. Dependent origination. Do you know the dependent origination? The formula of dependent origination? Little bit. Okay, whether you know or you do not know, it is worth knowing the dependent origination, paticca samuppada. Dependent origination explain everything. Everything is dependent reason, and each factor connect with each other. There are 12 factors, and each factor relate to each other. Let me recite the formula of dependent origination to you first. Dependent on ignorance, karmic formation arise. In Pali we call avijja. Avijja paccaya sankhara. Sankhara paccaya vijnana. Dependent on sankhara, consciousness arise. Vijnana paccaya namma-rupa. Dependent on consciousness, mind and body arise. Namma-rupa paccaya salayatana. Dependent on namma-rupa, 6 sense bases arise. Namma-rupa paccaya passo. Dependent on salayatana paccaya passo. Dependent on 6 sense bases, contact arises. Phassa paccaya vedanang. depend on contact, feeling arises. Vedana paccaya tanha, dependent on feeling, craving arises. Tanha paccaya upadanang, dependent on craving, clinging arises. Upadana paccaya bhavo, dependent on clinging, becoming arises. Bhava paccaya jati, dependent on becoming, birth arises. Jati paccaya jara brana sokha parideva dukkha domana supayasa eva metasa eva lasa dukkha khandasa samudayo hoti, dependent on birth, aging, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, and despair. Thus arise the whole mess of suffering. So the last sentence, thus, as a conclusion, arise the whole mess, the whole group, the whole mess of suffering. Where? From where suffering arises?
From what previous birth and the body and the...
Okay, so we can say from birth. From birth, thus arise the aging, sickness, and death. Then why birth arises?
Creating to become. Because creating to become.
Yeah, because of becoming. Birth arises. Now, just now we recite the formula forward up to the arise the whole mess of suffering. Now we should go backward. Go how to call the other way around. So the birth arises because of becoming. Becoming means karma. Karma becoming. Why there is karma becoming? Why we perform karma?
Attachment.
Yes, attachment. We call clinging, upadana, clinging. Attachment, clinging is strong attachment, called clinging. So because of strong clinging to something, want to get something, want to have something, then we must act, we must perform action in order to get what you crave for. So from where this clinging comes from? Go backward, craving. Craving. Clinging is strong craving. So strong craving come from small craving, come from craving. Where the craving comes from? Through your personal experience, you know the answer. No need to wait for Buddha to tell you. You imagine, you think about your own experiences.
Feeling?
What type of feeling?
Pleasant?
Yes, pleasant feeling. If it's unpleasant feeling, we will not crave for unpleasant feeling, right? So it must be from pleasant feeling. And craving cannot arise automatically. It must arise dependent on cause. What is the cause for the pleasant feeling to arise?
Contact with pleasant object?
Okay, contact. Okay, we let one by one, because of contact. Where the contact occur? Senses, yes, through the senses. How many senses you have?
6.
So there are 6 senses. What are the 6 senses? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind base. So the feeling arises dependent on contact. Contact arises dependent on 6 sense bases. Okay. So where the 6 sense bases rely on? Body and mind. Depend on mind and body, yes. Without body, there's no eyes, right? Without body, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body. And without mind base, without mind, there will be no mind base. Okay. Then how this mind and body come to existence? Because of consciousness. So because this consciousness, this point is a bit difficult for you to understand unless you have understanding of Abhidhamma. Because of in Abhidhamma we have consciousness and mental factors. Consciousness is the forerunner for all mental factors. Consciousness is like the king. Mental factors is like follower. The ministers always follow the king. So because consciousness arises, only when king comes, minister will come. So with the arising of consciousness, then mental factor. So dependent on consciousness, mind and body. That mind equal to mental factors. So depend on consciousness, mental factors and body comes about. Where does consciousness come from? Avijja? Not yet, so fast. One step. Too fast. Where is your mind comes from? In fact, this consciousness refer to, we have many different types of consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, body consciousness, and so on. And another one is called rebirth consciousness.
Rebirth?
Rebirth consciousness.
Okay.
Rebirth consciousness is the first consciousness come to existence when one was born. So now, the first consciousness come to existence when we are born. Where does it come from? It cannot come from nowhere. Yes, from karmic formation. Therefore, dependent origination say that consciousness arises because of karmic formation. Okay, that karmic formation including mental karma, verbal karma, and bodily karma. Why we perform different types of karma?
Yeah,
Three types of action. The three types of action: mental, verbal, and bodily.
Okay, why we perform these three types of karma? Why? Because we exist, that we have to perform. Now we go back to the root cause of existence.
That's ignorance.
Just now you mentioned the yogi behind you mentioned just now. You mentioned what? Yes, avijja.
Yeah.
Why we perform different types of karma? Because of ignorance. What is ignorance?
Not understanding about result and cause.
Yes. This is one of the reasons. What is ignorance? Not knowing the Four Noble Truths is ignorance. There are two meanings in ignorance. One is not knowing. Second one is knowing wrongly. So ignorance means first, not knowing the truth of suffering, which is 5 aggregate of clinging. Let me explain it a bit. 5 aggregate. It is very important because it is the truth of suffering. First, rupa khandha, matter or materiality aggregate, which composed of 4 elements. Do you cling to your body? When your body change, alter, becomes sick and old, do you feel suffering? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the truth of suffering, first one. Second, your feeling. Feeling aggregate. Do you cling to your feeling? When you have pleasant feeling, do you cling to it? You want it more or more? Yes. Yes. And when this pleasant feeling change to the unpleasant one, do you feel suffering? Yes. So clinging to feeling is the truth of suffering. You experience yourself. Then perception aggregate. Perception aggregate is a little bit difficult for most people to understand. But I will try to make it clear as much as possible. Perception has two meanings. One is perceive the specific feature of an object. Second is to recognize it again when you see it again. For example, when you see a bird flying in the sky, then you recognize the specific feature of the bird, wings flying in the sky. So you recognize the specific feature of the bird flying in the sky. This is called perception. And the second time you see it again, through what you have already marked the two wings, you can recognize this is a bird.
That is also perception.
Yeah, that's also perception. Can remember again is also perception. So since time immemorial, we always perceive what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we smell, what we taste, what we touch, what we think is happiness. And what we see and hear and so on, we perceive it having a controller, a self, which control the whole process of seeing, hearing, touching and thinking. Now through our life experience, now we feel that what we previously perceived as happiness changed. Life is not as happy as you perceive it. And many things happen in life beyond our control. It seems there's no controller in life. So previously we cling to this perception. Now our perception changed through life experience. Therefore, we come to understand the truth of suffering. So the truth of suffering is the clinging to this 5 aggregate. And I have mentioned 3 aggregate. I think is enough. And I have already mentioned ignorance has 2 meanings. First is not knowing. So we do not know. Clinging to 5 aggregate is the truth of suffering. The second one, not only not knowing. We know wrongly. We thought clinging to 5 aggregate bring us happiness. Knowing wrongly. First, not knowing, clinging to 5 aggregate is suffering. We know wrongly, clinging to 5 aggregate bring happiness.
Okay.
So what is the meaning of ignorance, avijja?
To be happy.
To find happiness is the ignorant. Okay, so we must...
Seeking happiness in those 5 aggregates is
ignorant, yes. Seeking happiness in 5 aggregate is ignorant. But because many people don't understand this, therefore they perform karma. They perform various karma in order to get 5 aggregate again and again. So why we perform different types of karma? Karma including charity, wholesome karma including charity, sila, observe 5 precepts, or 8 precepts, or listening to Dharma, or take care of the parents. These are called wholesome karma. We also perform unwholesome karma. Sometimes we may tell lies, steal, taking what's not given, cheating other people and so on. So we perform all this karma in order to get happiness, to find happiness in this mind and body, to enjoy for having this mind and body. Because we perceive this 5 aggregate, this mind and body bring us happiness. This is precisely ignorance. So far, do you agree with what Buddha said first? If you don't agree, I don't have to move on. Right? If you don't agree, then the following make no sense. And you agree through your own experience, not because what Buddha said. Buddhism does not based on blind faith, based on your practical experience. Shall I move on? So, whatever karma we do, based on ignorance. When there is ignorance, there is also craving. These are pair. One pair always go together. So we perform action, verbal action, bodily action, and mental action based on ignorance and craving. Therefore, that action, that karma, leaves karmic energy. And that karmic energy is latent, following our mind and body. And when this karmic energy, during our dying moment, before we die, during our dying moment, since we have performed various, maybe thousands of karma, one karma will meet with favorable condition to produce new life. So during our dying moment, a dying person will see some sign, will see one of three signs. For example, if this person will be reborn in hell, he will see like fire, hell fire in front of his vision. Why this sign of fire appear in his vision?
Because he has a lot of anger and the fire element is strong.
That is present karma. That is present karma. What you say is present karma. That fire comes from, is the maturing of one of past karma. Now, one of past karma, let's say he is a butcher, always killing animals. He is a butcher. So because he often performed that unwholesome karma many times in his lifetime, so during his dying moment, that killing animals, that karma ripened. So during his dying moment, he will see the fire, the hell, fire come from hell. And this fire is a sign of destination, which indicates he will rebirth in hell realm. For another person, he always perform, let's say, charity, or keep his morality, or always keep the good heart. So during his dying moment, he may see heavenly beings. And this heavenly beings is a sign of destination, indicate he will be reborn in heaven. So all this sign arise because of maturing of his past karma. And whatever karma we perform based on ignorance and craving leave behind karmic energy that will produce new life or new 5 aggregate in the future. And in new life, the first consciousness is called rebirth consciousness. Therefore, Buddha said, dependent on ignorant karmic formation, dependent on karmic formation, consciousness. And depend on consciousness. When the first consciousness arises, then mental factor and the body follow together. And when we have mind and body, we have 6 sense spaces, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And when we have 6 sense spaces, then the eye will see something we call contact, eye contact. The nose will hear, the ear will hear something, we call ear contact. The nose will smell something, we call nose contact. When there is contact, let's say eye, when the eye sees, let's say a man's eye, when the eye sees a beautiful woman, that's called eye contact. Owing to this pleasant eye contact, then pleasant feeling will arise throughout the body. And this pleasant feeling make the body very excited and very pleasant, then cause craving to arise. And if we cannot control that craving at mental state, then intensify, become strong craving, which is called clinging. And when your mind and body become so excited and you cannot control that clinging, what will you do? What will you do? Action. Yes, karma. Action means karma. Okay? So we, as a Buddhist, we already understand every action grounded on craving and ignorance leave behind karmic energy. And that karmic energy, when met with favorable conditions, will produce new birth again. So Buddha says, dependent on clinging, karmic becoming. Because of karmic becoming, birth. And when there is birth, and there is aging again, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, grief, pain, and despair. Thus arise the whole mass suffering again and again, repeatedly. Now come to the most important question. How to cut the cycle? This cycle dependent, just now we recite, dependent up to the whole mass of suffering. How to cut the cycle so that a cycle of dependent origination will not revolve again. This is we Buddhists who practice for liberation, right? This is the most important question that we should consider. How? Okay?
Not to attach, not to develop this clinging.
Okay, how not to develop?
Fire.
Huh?
Nibbana.
Okay, how to reach Nibbana? You should say, therefore I'm here to listen to you. Yes? What's your
Following Eightfold Path.
following the Noble Eightfold Path. Still very abstract.
Yeah.
I think in these links, we have to find a link with which we have free choice, which we can change.
Which link? Which link? We have 12 links.
When experiencing a feeling, understanding nature of it, and not reacting with.
What is the nature of understanding the nature of it? What is the nature of it?
That it's changing, that it's not that pleasant, and that it's not mine.
Very good. Precisely, this is the answer. You want to say something?
His answer was to let everything be as it is.
As is, we don't have that ability. We have to cultivate it and change our perception. Only then we will reach that state. So, the reason why I explain to you the dependent origination is to let you understand how the suffering comes about. Then, since we understand how the suffering comes about, which is the truth of suffering, we must know what is the origin, the second noble truth, the origin of suffering. What is the second noble truth?
Expectation.
Expectation, or another word, craving. Craving is the origin of the truth of suffering. So according to this the 12 link of dependent origination, where the craving comes from. He already gave the answer, from feeling. So if we can contemplate our feeling, especially pleasant and unpleasant one, if we can contemplate it as anicca, dukkha, anatta, then the feeling passes away. When feeling passes away, it will not condition craving. When there is no craving, there is no clinging. When there is no clinging, there is no karmic becoming. When there is no karmic becoming, there is no birth. And when there is no birth, there is no aging, sickness and death, sorrow, lamentation. Thus, the whole mass of suffering come to cessation. Therefore, for this reason, Buddha preached the 4 foundations of mindfulness. The first is bodily contemplation, kaya nupassana satipatthana. Second is contemplation on feeling, vedana nupassana satipatthana. So Buddha teach this vedana nupassana satipatthana, feeling contemplation, is to tackle, is to overcome, not to say overcome, is to tackle feeling, to see its arising and passing away, to see its non-self nature, so that craving will not give rise to craving. So today, in this retreat, I will teach you how to contemplate the feeling, so that to see its arising and passing away, to see its non-self nature of feeling, so that craving will not develop. However, time is up, so I will explain to you tomorrow. First, when you're standing, then you observe the soul touching the floor. What do you feel?
Pressure.
Hardness, pleasure. Then some cold or hot, right? There are many, but as a beginners, we focus on hardness. It's very easy. Here, touch here, hardness. Pleasure also can, if you want, okay? But let us choose hardness. So you're aware of hardness. Hardness. Then mentally you say, Patavi Dhatu, earth element. Then you walk. When you walk, lifting the foot, right foot, moving the right foot, is called wind element. So wind, mentally you note wind element, then when the soul touch the floor, hardness again. So you say earth element. Again, then lift up wind element, touch the floor, earth element. Based on these two, so we walk, wind element, earth element, touch, feel the hardness. Then feel the moving, pushing, moving or pushing. Feel the moving and pushing or the air. Then you say, mentally, you say wind element. Then touch the floor, you feel the hardness. Then you say earth element. Again and again. Same thing. Repeat the same process again and again. Then when you finish the walking up to the end, stand still. Stand still, feel the both soul touching the floor, earth element again. Then you turn. You want to turn the body, right? Then observe wind motion, pushing, motion. Observe wind element, move your body. So while moving the body, mentally say wind element, wind element, wind element, wind element. Then start again walking. Same thing, wind element and earth element. Again, same process. I'd like to suggest you for the first 20 minutes, don't walk so slow. Just don't walk so slow, but normal pace. After 20 minutes, then slow down a little bit. If you start with very slow walking, it takes a lot of mental energy. They cause tension on your head. And gradually, if you can walk in this way, wind element, earth element, wind element, earth element, gradually you forget the body. There's no perception that I am walking. No. Just feel the element walking. So we achieve the purpose. We achieve the purpose that seeing no body but the elements. If you are advanced meditator, when you do earth element and wind element, you will see more and more characteristic of other elements. But since today is your first time to try these elements by way of walking, walking by way of 4 elements, you focus on 2 first. As time goes on, you will observe more and more characteristic of 4 elements during walking meditation. Okay, then during meal time, eating time, you also have to focus on these two elements. When your hand touch the spoon, feel the hardness. Then you put the food on the mouth, feel the hardness or softness of the food. When you feel the hardness or softness, mentally say, earth element, earth element. Then you start chewing. Chewing is moving, right? Moving is what element? Wind element. Then you observe wind while chewing. Wind element, wind element, wind element. So only focus on two. Tomorrow I will increase more and more. As day goes, I will increase more element for you to observe. But for the first day, only earth and wind element. Same thing in our daily life. When you go to the washroom, sit on the toilet bowl, then you feel hardness, right? Softness, hardness. Then contemplate earth element, earth element. And when you brush teeth also, try to do wind element. Wind element, wind element. Okay, that's all for today. Good afternoon, sisters and brothers in the Dharma. And for the first introduction, I would like to explain to you there are two types of meditation. One is concentration, we call Samatha meditation. Another one is Vipassana, insight meditation. As a meditator or as a practitioner of Buddha's teaching, you should know the difference between the two. So today, for this 7 days retreat, we will practice both together. Usually, we start with concentration meditation. And what is the concentration meditation? There are many different meditation subjects under the concentration meditation or samatha bhavana. For example, anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, loving kindness meditation, metta bhavana, and kasina meditation, and for protective meditation. The purpose of practicing concentration is to develop one-pointedness of mind. This is because our mind in nature is very restless, and the restless mind is powerless. And the restless and powerless mind cannot see things as they really are. Therefore, we develop concentration in order to calm the restless mind. Then the Dhamma, with concentration, the Dhamma will manifest itself. And the second one is Vipassana meditation or insight meditation. I believe most of you have experienced insight meditation. So in order to understand the level of your practice, I would like to pose a few questions for you to answer. Okay, what is the object of insight meditation? You answer.
Impermanence.
Okay. Impermanence of what?
Feeling, thinking. Feeling, thinking, all is
Feeling is only one.
okay.
It's one aspect. What else? Sensation. Bodily sensation. Okay. Sensation, we can say in another way, in ultimate sense, it's called 4 elements. What else?
Thinking.
Thinking is called citta nupassana, mind. Okay. What else?
So,
Emotion.
Okay. Emotion including anger, right? Greed, jealousy, competition, sloth and torpor, restless, and so on. Okay. In short, the object of insight meditation is under the 4 foundations of mindfulness: Kaya Nupassana Satipatthana, Vedana Nupassana Satipatthana, Chitta-nupassana Satipatthana and Dhamma-nupassana Satipatthana. And under the Kaya-nupassana Satipatthana, there is 4 elements meditation. Do you know what are the 4 elements? Please tell me.
Fire,
Yes.
water,
Yes. Yes.
air.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole body is made up by these 4 elements of Pathavi Dhatu, earth element, water, Apo Dhatu, water element, Pathavi Apo Tejo Dhatu, fire element, and the last one, Vayu Dhatu, wind element. And the sensation you mentioned is made up by these 4 elements. And another aspect of insight meditators' observation is different types of feeling. So what are these different types of feeling? Can you tell me? Pain? Okay, pain is called dukkha vedana, unpleasant feeling. Pleasant feeling, yes. Sukha vedana and another one, neutral. Asukha masukha vedana. So these 3 types of feeling, dukkha vedana, unpleasant feeling, sukha vedana, and asukha masukha vedana, asukha masukha vedana. These 3 types of feeling are the object of insight meditator. And the third one is Chitta-nupassana Satipatthana. Under the Chitta-nupassana Satipatthana, there are many different mental objects. For example, anger, greed, jealousy, delusion, restless, concentration, wisdom, slow and torpor, doubt, and so on. If, let's say, a yogi experiences anger, as an insight meditator, how you observe that anger?
Like a feeling in body.
Hmm?
Like a feeling in body.
How mentally how you observe?
Impermanent, non-self.
Impermanent and non-self. Okay, very good. So first, when as an insight meditator, when anger arises, dosa arises in your mind, first you must aware first, right? Aware, mindfulness, sati, aware of the arising of anger. Then we pay attention, we pay wise attention to that the anger mental state as mind affected by anger, as mind affected by anger. When we pay wise attention, yoniso manasikara, we pay wise attention to this state of mind as state of mind, then we will not cling to that state of mind as myself. Otherwise, whatever state arises in the mind, without paying wise attention, we cling to it as I, mine, myself. That strengthened the Sakkaya Ditthi, identity view. So, after paying wise attention to that state of the mind, we further contemplate the anicca, impermanent, or that state of the mind is dependently a reason phenomena. If we can see that state of the mind, like anger state of the mind, as dependently a reason state, then the mind also will not cling to it as permanent as myself. So we use the same contemplation to whatever mental state that arises in the mind. Okay, the last one is Dhamma-nupassana Satipatthana. Under the Dhamma-nupassana Satipatthana, contemplation on the Dhamma, there is one category called 5 hindrances. You all know 5 hindrances, right? Yes? Yes? Okay. So when these 5 hindrances, for example, doubt, not to say doubt, slow and torpor. When a slow and torpor arises in us, immediately we feel that I am sleepy. So this identification. Identify that slot and topper is myself. It's called identity view, sakkaya ditthi. To get rid of the identity view, we have to first arouse our mindfulness, aware of that mental state, and further we will contemplate it as dependent, a reason state of mind. In fact, the way of contemplation is same as we contemplate the mind. Another subject under Dhammanupassana is Four Noble Truths. What is the truth of suffering? Can you tell me? Attachment and desire is the same thing. So attachment to what?
To get something, or to get rid of something, or to become something.
Okay. Some more? Some other reply?
Attachment to pleasurable experience.
Okay, this feeling. Attachment to feeling. Okay, good. Some more?
Well,
First, I mean that you need to understand that it is suffering.
What is suffering?
That it is suffering.
What is suffering? It is suffering. What is suffering?
Birth, old age, illness, death.
Okay. Yes, that is very common. Old age, death, sickness. What else?
This I is suffering.
Hmm?
Feeling of I.
Feeling of self, I is suffering.
Unpleasant sensation.
Yes, all this under feeling. Okay. The truth of suffering, as Buddha said, aging, sickness, death, separation from beloved one. Okay. Then unite. You have face to face with unbeloved one, and cannot get what you want. And in short, Buddha said, which is very important, 5 aggregate of clinging is suffering.
Tad Buddha teica, ka slimības, piedzimšana, novecošana, nāve, tiek šķirtam no tojiem un būt kopā ar tiem, ar ko negrib būt kopā, tās ir ciešanas. Un Buddha teica, ka īsumā 5 agregāti, 5 sastāvdaļas ir ciešanas.
So what are the 5 aggregate? Come on. First, follow the sequence.
Body.
Yes, we call rupa khandha, materiality, body. Second.
Rupa khandha, jeb ķermenis, pirmais.
Second.
Vision.
Yes, vedana khandha.
Perception.
Yes, sanya khandha. Mind. We don't call mind, we call consciousness. Yes, vijnana khandha. And one left. Yes, sankhara khandha, volitional formation. And Buddha said, we strongly cling to this 5 aggregate, therefore suffering comes. Another question for you to answer, why we cling to 5 aggregate? Or you can ask yourself, do you cling to your 5 aggregate or not? Yes or no?
Jā.
Okay, tell me why.
Because we're afraid to lose our I.
Okay. First, because we're afraid to lose ourself, our I or self. Or we identify the 5 aggregate as self. Therefore, we're afraid to lose them as self, right? Okay, this is one of the answers.
Very strong habit to do this, to clean.
The habit come from where? The habit must come from something, right?
From need to self-define or self-definition. We do it through these 5 things.
We make what?
We define ourselves through those 5 things.
Same like what she answered. There's one more. There's more than that.
nespēja atrast to laimi citur, kā tikai šajos piecos elements.
We are unable to find happiness outside of these 5 aggregates. We don't know how to find happiness elsewhere.
We don't know how to find happiness outside of this 5 aggregate.
Yeah.
Therefore, we cling to the aggregate. Very good. Okay, one of the reasons is that because we are afraid of losing the self, right? We identify the body as self, feeling as self, perception as self, sankhara, formation as self, all type of consciousness as self. So we are afraid of losing the self. Therefore, we strongly cling to them. This is one of the reasons. Second reason is that because we feel that 5 aggregate give us happiness. For example, having this 5 aggregate, we have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. Only then we can enjoy, right? Can enjoy beautiful, visible object. Can enjoy sweet sound. The body can enjoy soft touch. And the mind can enjoy fantasy. Therefore, we wrongly perceive the 5 aggregate give us happiness. Therefore, we cling to them. Okay. And this perception of happiness and having a self is called distorted, or we call perverted, distorted perception, sanya vipallasa. And because of wrongly perceived what is suffering as happiness, and also because of wrongly perceive what is not self as self, then we develop strong attachment to 5 aggregates. Okay, next question for you. How not to attach to 5 aggregate?
To distance oneself.
How?
Ka.
To have some experience about pleasure, not from this senses.
Okay, some more? I want more question, more answer.
Izpētīt to nepastāvīgo dabu, teiksim. Tas ir tā vipassana,
To explore the impermanent nature
of those 5.
Of those 5 aggregates.
Yeah.
Very good, excellent. This is how we call vipassana. Okay? So vipassana is to see the changing, impermanent nature of 5 aggregate. To see the non-self nature of 5 aggregate, only then we can let go of strong attachment and desire for 5 aggregate. So I wish you all can understand. If you practice vipassana, your object of observation is body, 4 elements, different type of feeling, different state of mind, and Dhammanupassana, including 4 Noble Truths and the 5 hindrances. And in the 4 Noble Truths, the important part is, Buddha said, the truth of suffering, which is 5 aggregates of clinging, must be thoroughly known. Under the Noble Truth of suffering, which is 5 aggregates of clinging, that 5 aggregate of clinging must be thoroughly known. Then how can we thoroughly know the 5 aggregate of clinging? It is by constantly observe them. Constantly observe their impermanent, their suffering and non-self nature. Therefore, as an insight meditator, the 5 aggregate is also the object of our observation. We try to see their inconsistency or anicca, and if we can reach a state of experiencing whatever we see, let's say feeling, arising and passing away very fast. Constant arising and passing away. Then we understand why Buddha called being oppressed by constant suffering, being oppressed by constant arising and passing away is dukkha, suffering. And what is impermanent is dukkha, suffering. What is anicca, dukkha? There's no controller of the whole process of arising and passing away. Therefore, it is also anatta. This is the aim of vipassana, is to see anicca, dukkha, anatta of 5 aggregate. Then, only then, the mind will get disenchanted with the 5 aggregate. When the mind gets disenchanted with the 5 aggregate and the mind inclined to Nibbana. Nibbana is the cessation of all 5 aggregate. So, if you practice vipassana, and we will practice vipassana also in this retreat, and I will teach you how to contemplate anicca, dukkha, anatta of body, feeling and mind. But for the first day, I would like to share how to practice little bit loving kindness, metta bhavana. Have you practiced metta bhavana?
Yes,
Any of you never practiced metta bhavana? Yes or no?
I misheard. I have a little bit practice.
Oh, but never practiced before. In fact, I prefer teach anapana than metta bhavana, right? But through many years of teaching experiences, I feel that metta bhavana helps people to soften the mind. When the mind becomes soft, happy, then they develop concentration. So in this retreat, I will teach metta bhavana, anapana, sati, 4 elements, and contemplation of feeling. So you learn as much as you can. Okay, so let us start with metta bhavana. The object, first we start with oneself. You know, metta is called loving mind, or gentle. Metta, the meaning of metta is called gentleness. Gentleness like friend, or gentle, very gentle like full moon.
Metta tulkojumā nozīmē mīlošs vai maigs, kā labs draugs vai kā mēnesis.
And therefore, when you practice metta bhavana, your mind must be very soft and very gentle. Usually we start the metta to oneself first. In Western, like America, 90% of yogis fail to send metta to oneself. But I don't know how European, how Latvia.
95.
What?
95.
95 fail to send to themselves? It is very unusual. In Asia, we can easily send loving kindness to oneself. But in the West, in America, in the West, because I never teach in Europe, I do not know. But since you are psychology, I think you know better. So can you tell me why 95% cannot have love to themselves?
Well, I think it's part of not education and family. So I mean, I think somehow people growing up, children, they're not allowed to make mistakes, or if they do mistakes, that they it's not good, and it sometimes becomes sad.
Not because of Christian background.
Also Christianity.
Yeah. Christian background say you are sinful, right?
Sinful, yeah.
Yeah. So very difficult to love oneself. If it's difficult to love oneself, then we don't send metta to oneself. Okay, I have another way to send metta to oneself. It's different from the traditional way. Okay, we divide this self into two parts. One is body, another one is mind. So we can say metta, may, and body is made up by 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and wind. So we can start with sending metta to the body, which is 4 elements. We say that may the 4 elements in this body, by scanning, may the 4 elements in this body be balanced and healthy. And after about like 20 or 30 minutes, then we change to mind. Then may this mind, don't say my mind, you keep your attention in the heart area here. May this mind be peaceful, happy, and free from all suffering. So in this way, there's no sense of self. When there's no sense of self, there's no self-hatred. Then I wish you can practice successfully. Does this make sense? Okay, let us try this metta. Okay. First, you keep your attention on top of the head. Then you scan, scan down. Those who have practiced Goenka know how to do scanning. Scan. So while scanning, you wish yourself, you wish your body. May the 4 elements in the body be balanced and healthy. Again, you can scan slowly, not very fast. And every part, hip, hair, top, forehead, cheek, neck, shoulder, and so on. So every time when you scan, you just add this good wishes. May the 4 elements in the body be balanced and healthy again and again up to the soul. Then finish when up to the soul again, then come back to the head again, then scan again. Same thing. This scanning also can make your body very healthy. It can cure many body sickness. So after half an hour, roughly you think enough for yourself, then you shift to mind, keep your attention in the mind, heart area here. Then you say, may this mind be peaceful, be happy, and free from all suffering. So when you say, may it be peaceful, then you must imagine, use your imagination to feel the peaceful of the mind. Don't only verbally say, you have to put some imagination for how peaceful the mind is. Then may this mind be peaceful. And may this mind be peaceful, then imagine it a bit, then may this mind be happy. When you say, when this mind be happy, you try smile a little bit. And the third one is, may this mind free from all mental suffering. And you should imagine all the mental suffering like worry, anxiety, depression or unhappiness, everything has left the mind. So to make this metta more successfully, some imagination is needed. Not only verbally saying, you have to imagine how the mind is free from suffering already. No more worry, no more anxiety and so on. It's okay? Is it clear? Okay, then let us start.